found a little while ago, $10 to $25 per individual. I'm beginning to question that. I don't think it's as much that much money anymore for identities. I think they're truly just going after credit card information and, as was pointed out today, intellectual property. The cost for a data breach, and I'd really like to point this out, especially to the executive levels. This is one of the things that I use whenever I find a client data file on our network that's not stored in accordance with our policies. I'll count the number of records and multiply that. I don't have the number up there, but I think it's $197, give or take a few dollars there, per record that would cost a company if that information were breached. Yes, sir.
Do you carry breach insurance? Do you carry breach insurance?
Breach insurance? No, we don't.
Should you?
You know, that question was brought up a while ago. To be honest, I'm not really sure. It was posed to the executives, and I just let them run with it. You know, but that's really a question, you know, should you carry it? You know, what's the impact? Again, do your business impact analysis. You know, what's the impact of the organization? What's the cost of the insurance?
The reason I ask that is that it's one of the few places that people are selling insurance successfully in this area because the costs are kind of well understood. We know how many letters, we know how much it costs to pay lawyers, we know how much credit monitoring costs, and just to, you know, the idea is that we sometimes insure things that which we understand. The part we don't understand just seems too hard.
Very true. And that's one of my difficulties as part of the risk management is pointing out to the executives what's the true cost and how do you mitigate that. The last line on here, we connect to our clients to support our products. We have a network connection to them. This last line was very important to our organization. This report was put out actually in February this year by the Ponemon Institute. 44% of the respondents said that the breaches were caused by a third party. We are a third party to our clients. I can guarantee if they look at this report, they're going to start thinking there's a big risk for us as Ontario Systems. So we need to, as an organization, address that. The same Verizon report showed that 80% the difficulty levels of a breach were low and moderate, which meant a little to very little knowledge was required. It's big business nowadays for criminals to either sell or buy the tools to do a data breach, to go out and steal information, steal identity. Well, the scary part was 52% were just low. Automated tools and script kiddies. A little more than half of the data breaches were caused by run-of-the-mill scripts. You're all familiar with this, but I like to point this out to our employees and to our clients. This is a small list, as you know, of the different vulnerabilities. And as I was reviewing this again today, I added in, on the vulnerability side, for web browsers and office software, I said improperly coded. We always, from the information security side, we look at it as being improperly patched. Do we have the right processes in place to patch those? When the reports come out, 30 days after we do our testing, we patch the systems. Is that really the vulnerability, or is it because they're improperly coded? Start to question that. You know, but really the bottom line for all these, as I started to look at them even deeper, was really a lack of procedures, a lack of processes. If you don't have a patch process, your web browsers are going to be exploited. Your software will be exploited if you don't have the right processes in place. To us as an organization, to Ontario Systems, we have to, originally indirectly, we had to meet with the compliance requirements of all these different regulations and laws. We had a contractual obligation to our clients and an ethical obligation to protect their data. Well, one of the changes to HIPAA in the stimulus plan that was just signed by President Obama in February was the business associates, which are third parties that have access to protected health information, are now liable. We are responsible for reporting the breach. Prior to that, it was the covered entity, it was the healthcare, it was the hospital, or whoever was handling or was actually responsible for the data. This was a big change for us. We became liable. It directly addressed us as an organization. You know, we deal with a lot of different companies in a lot of different markets. We have public companies, we deal with financial institutions, credit unions. Our software takes credit card payments from debtors. Yeah, I know, it sounds a little weird. But keep in mind that not all debtors are really in debt, especially in healthcare. They get a lot of bills from their doctor. It's difficult to pay those all off at once. So what they'll do is they'll create payment plans. We'll take credit card payments. You know, it's easy. We also do skip tracing with our software, so we deal with credit reports. So we have to worry about making sure our clients can comply with that regulation about disposing of credit reports in a timely manner. The red flag rule, which just came out, was about being able to identify identity theft. What are those flags that you have in place to make sure that that information was not compromised, that somebody, especially an insider, did not compromise that data, did not steal that information. We have Canadian companies. We deal also with a company in Europe indirectly through one of our other United States companies, but we still have to know and understand the laws and regulations in the foreign companies because we still have access to that data. The one thing I like is that it seems to me that in the foreign, call them foreign, but Europe and in the United Kingdom and Canada, they have those federal privacy laws, those protections, those privacy protection acts. That's one thing we lack here. We have, 44 states now that have data breach laws, each one different in a little way. So that becomes a little cumbersome. There's some identity theft bills that are pending. So as you can see, this is a lot of what I deal with also. I have to keep track. I have to monitor. I report this information to our executives to make sure that they're aware. There's a possibility we may be affected by these laws, either directly or indirectly. For our clients, like I stated earlier, we do have connections to our clients' data to connect and support our product. So we have a contractual obligation, an ethical obligation to protect the privacy data information. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands, millions, I don't even know how many, if we were to go out to all of our 500 clients and grab that information. Millions upon millions upon millions of people. It's scary. We also want to make sure that our clients can comply with those regulations. How? Because we access that data. So they conduct audits of us to make sure we have policies and procedures in place to protect this information. I want to insure them